The night shift that still haunts me, a real horror in the ER. You think horror stories only happen in movies? Try working the graveyard shift in a hospital ER. I've seen blood, trauma, death. But nothing ever got under my skin like that one night. It wasn't just gross, it was tragic. It was terrifying. And most of all, it was real. It was around 2 a.m., that dead hour stretch where everything either slows down or goes completely off the rails. So far, we'd had the usual ER nonsense. A guy freaking out over a mosquito bite, swearing it was dengue, even though he looked healthier than I did after 3 cups of coffee. Then we got the call. Ambulance inbound. Female patient in her 50s, unconscious and unstable vitals. When they wheeled her in, it hit me. This was going to be that kind of night. She was huge, not a little overweight. I mean morbidly obese to the point where she couldn't move. Her body folded in on itself, layers of skin stacked like a collapsed tent. She was drenched in sweat, barely responsive, wrapped in what looked like every towel they had in their house. And not clean ones either. Damp, yellow-stained, reeking like mold and old soup. Her husband came in right behind the stretcher, looking like he hadn't seen the inside of a doctor's office since the 90s. He kept insisting, "She walks fine. She just slipped in the bathroom." Sir, please. There was no way this woman had walked anywhere in months, maybe even years. Then the daughter came in, 22 years old, heavyset just like her mom, arms crossed like she was mad we were even making a fuss. "She's okay," she said, all casual. "She just needs rest. We'll take her to our regular doctor in the morning." In a taxi, no less. Let that sink in. This woman was unconscious, drenched in sweat, barely breathing, and her family wanted to shove her into the back seat of a cab like it was a regular doctor's visit. I'm not judging her size. I'm judging how deep the denial ran in that family. We immediately started running labs, stabilizing her as best we could. And when the results came back, my heart sank. WBC count 32,000. Normal is 4.5 to 11,000. She was fighting a massive infection. CRP 280 milligrams per liter. Normal is under 5. Inflammation off the charts. Lactate 6.5 millimoles per liter. A huge warning sign for sepsis. Creatinine 3.1 milligrams per deciliter. Kidneys were failing. Blood sugar 389 milligrams per deciliter. Probably diabetic, untreated. In short, her body was screaming for help, and probably had been for a while. This wasn't something that started last night. This was years of neglect catching up all at once. But before we could even think about transferring her to a bigger hospital, we had to do something we dreaded: clean her. She couldn't be moved in that condition, not safely. It took 4 of us. We got our gloves, masks, the works. When we pulled back the damp sheets, the smell doubled down on us. Not just BO or sweat. This was rot, decay. There's no polite way to say it. Her skin had turned into a fungal jungle. Mushrooms, actual mushroom-like growths in the folds of her skin. One of the newer nurses gagged and ran out of the room. I don't blame her. I've seen some messed up wounds, but this was different. This wasn't just a medical emergency. It felt like something out of a nightmare. We soaked gauze in betadine and started gently wiping down the folds. That's when it happened. She screamed. Not a normal scream. Not the kind you expect from pain or confusion. This was deep, guttural, and raw, like something else was coming out of her mouth. "Don't touch me," she growled, twisting her head and arching her back like she was possessed. I kid you not, it sounded straight out of The Exorcist. We all froze. My hands were shaking. For a split second, I wondered if I was even still in a hospital or some kind of hellish dream. We pushed through it, though. Had to. This was someone's mother, someone's wife, and under all of it, she was a human being who deserved dignity, even when the people around her had failed her so completely. Eventually, we stabilized her enough to get her transferred to the ICU at a larger hospital. But the damage was done. Her organs were shutting down. She passed away a couple of days later from septic shock, and the daughter still kept saying, "She was fine yesterday." No, she wasn't. She hadn't been fine in years. But denial is a hell of a drug. Here's the thing. This story isn't about her weight. It's about how we as a society let people get this far gone before anyone acts. It's about families who can't accept what's right in front of them. It's about a healthcare system so broken that even people with family around them end up dying alone, in agony, covered in mold. It still haunts me. Not just the smell, not just the screams, but the idea that we were fighting more than bacteria that night. We were fighting years of rot, both physical and emotional, and we lost.